Today we're gonna explore what we can build with our carbine kits and how heavy we can actually customize it. My goal is to make 3 different builds. One is my ideal sidearm for winter and one for summer. Then we're gonna make a DMR loadout, you know, kind of like a kit. Then we're gonna make an assaulter kit and also a speedsoft platform. For this, I brought together pretty much everything that I can think of that is somewhat useful. I haven't tried all of these builds yet, so we're gonna explore them together. And I'm quite excited to get into it. On this table, again, lots of stuff that we can put on, from magazines, lots of different stocks, from folding to retractable, different optics, different guns also. And yeah, the reason why I wanted to make this is because I built the DMR loadout recently. There's also a gameplay video on the main channel. And while I built it, I really realized this universe grew quite a lot because we made a few adapters that really changed everything, like the Picatinny adapter that fit all the carbine kits, which now, you know, you can mount all of these different stocks. So really, the sky is the limit. Before I start mounting all of this, just be aware that I will focus mostly on the high caliber carbine kit because that's just been coming out. And I think the SSP5 is, you know, it really has potential as a primary. Shoots heavy BBs, shoots far, all that. But be aware that all of the stock stuff and most of the stuff that I'm mounting also goes onto here, you know, the SSP18 or 28 carbine kit. This guy right here. So I can basically, what you see here, I could also do with this one. And the same goes for the SSE18 carbine kit because they are made from the same extrusion. So the profile here is the same, meaning that this Picatinny adapter fits inside. Of course, it has a top rail, so it's gonna be very similar. But anyways, we're gonna focus on the SSP5. Now the first one that I want to show you, I don't even have to build, it's already done. That's the SSE18 carbine kit. Now this is my optimal winter sidearm. Just low sitting red dot. You have the drop on the stock, so even with a mask on, you can aim nicely. You can holster this thing. So yeah, that's really all I need. I don't want anything else on this thing. I don't need a front grip on it. I don't want it to be heavy. You know, it sits in my holster, so the less, the better. I would also run this always with the extended mag, so I have 100 BBs and, you know, the full auto, no cooldown. That's just how I run it. That one is done. As for summer, I would put the 28 inside of this. I would also use an extended magazine, however, the light ones. Yeah? I don't really like to have heavy stuff in my holster because I started running the modular belt, and any weight here, you know, that especially extends far away from you, and this does create a bit of a distance to your body. I just don't like it, yeah. So I will put a light mag into the SSP28. Also, by the way, all of these carbine kits have the holster adapter on the side, so even if it's as big as a build as this thing, I can also holster this guy. Now let's build the speedsoft gun. For this, I would run the SSP5 5.1, gives me 1 joule. I've seen this gun in speedsoft actually quite a lot, so this is what I'm gonna base it on. Of course, I need the carbine kit. I could run this kit with different pistols. There's all the different adapters for SSP1, SSP2, and SSP5. Now, because it is, you know, open in the front, this carbine kit, even if you put in something like, let's say, an SSP1, I actually don't even need to put the charging handle because I can just rack it through the front, meaning that I could put a Marui high capper in here or really any other high capper with a frame rail. But again, for performance, I am going with the SSP5 5.1. So before installing it, I have to change the rear side to the charging handle. Because on SSP5, you can't rack it from the front. Not possible. You have to do it through the rear, and for this you need a charging handle. For the installation, you just take off the rear side and you put the charging handle adapter on. When you do this, definitely put screw glue on that screw, because otherwise that screw can get loose and you're gonna have a bad time. So we put some medium strength screw glue onto this thread. Good. Gun is in there. Now I'm thinking if for SpeedQB this would be the preferred stock, but I feel like, I think this one is nice in a like, you know, normal urban area with like some forest and so on. You have I think a decent length to pull, but if you really go into SpeedQB and like really as, you know, as close quarter as possible, I would want it a bit further in. And for this stock, I think it's a bit too long. And I would switch probably, I think this one here. This will be a bit shorter. And also because the support here is higher, it allows me to, to bring the gun up a little bit more and still have support on my shoulder. So I think that's the way to go on a speedsoft gun. For this I will have to remove the stock, and again I would only do this if I run this as a primary. Really as a secondary I think this is the perfect stock because it's light, it's minimalistic and it does what it needs. But as a primary, yeah, if I want it shorter and also I want more support here, this one is not the way to go. On a speedsoft gun I definitely need a tracer. So I put the straight adapter and the tracer. There we go. And a minimal red dot. That's PB proof. Now here the premium one, because the speedsoft people, they don't save money. They just spend it on crazy high caliber builds. As for the magazine, could be the long mag, could be the short mag, but honestly if you do speedsoft, HBA is the way to go. I probably wouldn't run this HBA adapter because it becomes too long for speedsoft. I think it's fine for normal urban gameplay and so on. But in speedsoft they go prone a lot, and this will become too long actually for most speedsoft players. So they prefer these angled M4 mag adapters. I don't have one here right now, so that's the best I got. Now before I change the stock, I actually want to find out if I could run this with a dime mask comfortably with this red dot height. I mean I have quite a drop on the stock, but I have to tilt my head slightly, like I cannot leave my head completely straight. I have to do this, and now I see the dot. So it's possible, but I always prefer that I can just literally put my head to the side and I already see the dot, which kinda actually. Nah, but that's not it. I need more drop here and maybe a slightly higher red dot. Also lengthwise, I think I'd want it a bit, I mean I could run it like this, but yeah, why not just change to the shorter stock. So now I can remove the stock, and this part basically gets replaced with the metal Picatinny rail. Change that. Now I have the Picatinny stock on, and I can now choose if I want a straight Picatinny. So that would result in a stock like that. Or if I want to create a space here, that my mask can basically clear all of this and I can still look at a low sitting red dot, I can just turn this around. And now this will sit at an angle. And this allows me to put the stock downwards, just like that. And now I have space for my mask. I prefer that for my speedsoft setup, so that's what I'm gonna do. Now I have multiple stock options, and this one is skeletonized and all that, but it's actually quite heavy. It's metal, and I think it has its place on the SSP5 because it's a heavy steel gun, so you need that counterweight. But on this one, I don't know, man. I also don't really like how it looks on it. Not a big fan. And yeah, it puts too much weight towards the back. Let's try the buffer tube version. Then it's length adjustable. I can just bring it to where I want it. I can now choose if I want to have it down here or one segment higher. But because I want as much space as possible for my mask, I'm gonna drop it as low as I can, which is here. And as for the stocks, well, it's a speedsoft gun, so the most minimalistic one would be my choice. Let's see how that works. I can bring it really high, so that's nice. Lengthwise, the shortest length is already, I think, pretty much perfect, but maybe I would want it even shorter. That one is even slightly shorter. It's also more lightweight, so I think this is the way to go. Even though, if you're a tall guy and you wanna bring the stock out a little bit, you can with this one. It's also folding. Yeah, it also doesn't fold all the way because the charging handle is in the way. So, yeah, it's kinda alright. Nah, let's go for this one. Now this stock can also lock into two places, which would be up here or down here. I think I want to go as low as possible. Yeah, that feels right. So I can still fold it. Actually folds all the way. No wobble. Yeah, I see myself using it like this. Let's try with the mask. Nah, I can see it, but you can see that my head is slightly tilted. So if I bring it straight, I can't see the dot anymore. So it's quite good already, but I'm gonna try the higher red dot. Yeah, maybe a front grip. I'm not sure, huh? Do we need a front grip on this? If I'm a speedsofter, I'm fast. No, maybe actually, maybe. Can I use this one? I think this one's gonna look weird on this gun. This is more designed for Glocks. Like this one works really, really well on the Glock carbine kits. So you can hold it nicely here. But you know, here it's nice and tidy and there's no open gaps or anything. But because it uses the original pistol frame rail, I don't think that's gonna work here because there's a rail on top of a rail. So it's gonna create a weird space here. Nope, there's just not enough space. So this one is not an option for the high kappa carbine kit. But I could grab this one. Yeah, actually that's nicer. I think that's how I would run it. Let's try again with a mask. Yep, that's it. That would be my speedsoft loadout. I can easily see the dot. I have my tracer, I have my front grip, I can run my die mask. It's nice and compact. I can easily bring it to the field. You know, I can just take it apart, put it in my backpack. That's all I need. So there we go. This would be my speedsoft setup. I think it's almost perfect. Two things that I would change, but I don't have it here. An angled HB adapter, so I can go lower. And honestly, instead of the tracer, the tummy kit would be cool. We can bring it up here. It's basically an integrated tracer that's in a slide. It's a bit shorter than this one. And you know, the shorter I can make it, the better. Okay, let's move on to the assaulter. Before we move on, let's also sanity check if I can still holster this thing. I can, but not with a folded stock, yeah? This one only folds to the left. But yeah, as a speedsoft player, you anyways don't holster your gun during a game. So this is mostly just a convenience, so you don't have to carry it in your hand when you're in the safe zone or something. All right, let's put the speedsoft stuff away. We're gonna go next to the assaulter. And for this, I would run the 6-inch because it gives me 1.5 joules. And for these standard urban areas, 1.5 joules is totally fine. So I'm gonna take this one here as the base. I definitely don't need a suppressor on it. So that's gonna go. I definitely don't need an LPVO on it. I mean, I could run an LPVO, but I don't know. I feel like for 1.5 joules, an LPVO is a bit of an overkill. And I think a red dot is just fine. And because this is mostly about being compact and light, because otherwise I could also just run an HE, I'm gonna stick with a red dot. But I'm gonna stick with a minimal one. I'm gonna go with that one, I think. There's no need for me to have a high red dot because I'm not gonna use a die mask. As for the stock, I wouldn't go with this one either because I'm gonna build this into a primary and yeah, it kind of does the job, but I want a bit more support here and I also want length adjustability because as an assaulter, you know, maybe sometimes I run a plate carrier, sometimes a chest rig, and for that I want the option of different stock lengths. So that's gonna go. And we're back to the Picatinny base. I definitely also want that grip again. I really like this one. I also want a light on here. I'm an assaulter, right? I need a light laser module. Well, at least light, so in those dark corners that I can actually see. For this, there is this top Picatinny rail. This was meant for optics on SSP5 if you don't want to run the micro red dot. But honestly, I think it's really useful to now mount, I don't know, zoom cams or whatnot when it's in the carbine kit. Give it right here. Stock-wise, length adjustable. Now for the stock, I'm going with the skeletonized buffer tube. With this, I think this stock works pretty well. It's minimalistic. And again, if I run a plate carrier, I can run it on the shortest position. If I don't run a plate carrier, I would probably extend it to about here. Yeah, I'm still gonna keep the drop on the stock. I don't wanna bring it parallel to the rail because with the low setting red dot, no, aiming will be hard even with a, you know, even with a low profile mesh mask. So yeah, this is my assaulter loadout. I think it does it all. I can adjust my lengths to pull depending if I run a plate carrier or not. I can illuminate those dark corners, red dot grip, long mag. What else do you want? And then of course I can still fold it for transport. It doesn't fold all the way because it interferes with the charging handle right here. But what I could do, actually this folding hinge is reversible. I can turn it around and turn this also around, then it folds to the other side and I can just, you know, not have the charging handle here, or I can put the charging handle to the other side. It is reversible. So that would be an option. Anyways, this is the Assaulter build. And last, we're gonna build this into a DMR, which is what I've been running on one of the last games. You will find it on the main channel. And yeah, for this, the most obvious one is definitely the optic. I will also remove the flashlight. Longer barrel for 2 joules and then hiding it with the suppressor. Let's do all that. Gonna start with removing the light and laser module. Definitely don't need that. Red dot is not a fit either. That's all we need. Now it's an LPVO red dot combi, and honestly I've been really liking these, especially for higher powered guns. Because you can, very quickly switch. Because at closer ranges the red dot is just faster, and if you have to do these like quick peaks, and for longer range, and if you want to track your BB and see where the wind brings it, then you can just zoom in. So my way to go for the DMR one. Shorter mag definitely, so I can go lower when prone. And honestly, it's still 28 BBs, so that should be plenty. Now to get the power up on this guy, I will need a longer inner barrel. This is a 303mm VSR spec inner barrel. Basically, you can put that into that gun and it brings it up to, I think I brought it as high as 2.3 joules. You're really depending on the barrel length, the BB weight that you're using, and the gas that you're using. But yeah, keep that in mind. This can actually fire really, really far. I will not do it for this video because I would have to take the whole gun apart, but you get the idea. This is an option if the field allows it. However, as you might know, some fields say if there's no real steel counterpart, you cannot run DMR power levels. So just keep that in mind. If you do it, however, you can cover the barrel with a suppressor. You shouldn't just have it exposed, because if you bump it into something, then you can bend that barrel. And that's no good. I go with this one. I think it looks cool. But yeah, you could also go for lighter ones if you want a more light build. This is maybe a bit of an overkill. As for the stock, I'm gonna try the DMR stock, because then I have a cheek rest, which I don't really think it's needed, but I want to give it a try anyways. It is nice actually. So I think the stock is pretty comfy actually. Also the zoom cam will go on the optic rail here, because I like recording those nice long range shots. I'm not so sure about the stock. I don't know, it feels like a bit, maybe it's just me, I think it looks off. It looks a bit too bulky on this gun. What do you guys think? It is nice with the cheek rest though, is the adjustable. Let me know in the comments. I think it's a bit too bulky. Actually, what about this stock here? The A3 stock should also fit. It also has an adjustable cheek rest and it's lighter and more minimal. Cheek rest is a bit too high, I think. Let's try that. Actually, I'm a bit too low with this drop stock. So I think it looks good, but I would want it straight, because I don't need it this low actually. Especially if I wanna aim with the red dot. The stock is really far away now. So now we go from angle to straight again, because of the high optic. I think we're slowly getting there. This cheek rest is very adjustable, by the way. You can adjust the position and also on what side it is. So let's adjust that too. I want this in the middle, because I don't want my cheek rest to be off center. And I want it more backwards. Okay, that should be it. Yup. See if I can fold it. Yeah, this one now actually folds to the other side. Yeah, just like that. Fully folds. Again, this is reversible. I could put it to the other side, but I don't want to. I have the charging handle on that side anyways, so it nicely folds. I really like it. What do you guys think? This will be my DMR build for the SSP5. 2 joules with the longer barrel, semi-automatic. I can still fully holster this thing. Let me show you that, which actually can be useful, because if you draw your secondary, because you go into a building, you can actually put this into your holster. So, universal holster. There we go. This will just hang on your belt like so. You can draw it anytime. Bring out your stock and you're ready to go. So that's about it. I built the speedsoft, the DMR and the assaulter. My favorite one is, I think, the DMR. That's also what I've been running on the last game. And man, yeah, shooting those 45s at high power, at semi-instant trigger response. It's nice, yeah. With the TTC, you know, you get the accuracy. You also still have TTC access, by the way. Here's a spare out. So yeah, let me know in the comments. What is your favorite build?